Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am the Grand Cat and today we are going to start by getting ourselves the first Pro SummerSlam 23 Fusion card, which is of course going to be the Heartbreak Kid himself, Shawn Michaels. Then we're going to Pro a big Promos, and this is a Promos. And then we're going to maybe think about deleting some cards, because as you can see we are at 440 or 450 cards, which doesn't give us very many space. And we're going to decide how we're going to get rid of some of those cards and the reasoning why. But first, let us pro our two Shawn Michaels. This here is my favourite image of Shawn Michaels. It is from back in Season 1, I believe. I believe it's a Legendary Rare Season 1. So let us use this. I'm going to combine, and they're both at level 100, both have their 100 matches. So yes, we're going to continue, and we are going to use Chain because it's 45% chance as opposed to 25% chance, even though it only increases speed and charisma. I think this is the better of the two. And there we have it, folks. That is what the pro animation looks like for the fusions. We have a couple of cars racing towards Shawn Michaels, which is a little bit strange in retrospect when you think about it. I do like the cool thing that's going on in the background here, with kind of shininess here. The cars are a little bit weird. It's nice that it's got some animation to it though. It's a little bit better than the regular SummerSlam 23 Pros. But also the little sign up here has a little flash, a little shine to it. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Another good thing about having this Pro Shawn Michaels is that we can also equip our Shawn Michaels sunglasses to him, and you'll get the additional plus 15 million power as well, which will make him absolutely huge. There we go. He has already surpassed Joaquin Wilde, who is at level 105 with his 100 matches, and this is Shawn Michaels at level 0 with 0 matches, but with the equipment on him. So that's going to be a very strong up arrow. And if you look at our cards here, previously, I should have shown this previously. I'm going to go look at all of these. Our previous fourth strongest up arrow was the Myth Special Edition Shawn Michaels, and now that we've made this Pro Fusion Shawn Michaels, that has replaced that, and you can see that now our weakest up arrow is the Special Edition Fortified 1 NXT Carmelo Hayes that we got from the Battle Pass. So this is a Battle Pass card as opposed to a Special Edition card, which is a little bit different because Battle Pass cards are a little bit stronger than the Special Editions. So that is why he is there. So if we can get one more up arrow that is SummerSlam 23, then we'll have no longer any need for any Myth cards, of course, with the exception of our Double Heroic Dragon Lee, who is actually stronger than our Pro SummerSlam 23 Joaquin Wilde. So we don't have any need for right arrows because our weakest right arrow is a Fortified 1 SummerSlam 23 Braun Strowman. Of course, even the non-Fortified 1 Seth Rollins is stronger than the Fortified 1 Braun Breaker. And then of course we have the PLE Gunther, which is right arrow, and of course the PvP event JSO at rank 4000 is our strongest of the right arrows. In terms of left arrows, we are currently still sitting here with a single SummerSlam 23 Summer Slam 23. It's weird that it's a SummerSlam, but yeah, that's what we have. Never got the Pro of him, but we do have Pro Omos, and that's going to replace this. And as you can see there, we have our Dirty Dominic Mysterio, and our Myth Undertaker at rank 527 is still stronger than our regular Pro SummerSlam 23s. And our Fortified 1 Finn Balor is just a little bit stronger than our Undertaker. So once we get another left arrow, which will be the Promos, we won't have any need for any regular SummerSlam 23 left arrows any longer. We do still want an up arrow one, because we want one to replace this Myth Carmelo Hayes. And in terms of down arrows, our weakest down arrow is a Fortified 1 Wesley, because we have the Pro Summer 23 Ricochet. We have our Double Heroic Chad Gable, and we have our Double Heroic Damian Priest as well. So, that is why we're going to be able to get rid of some cards here today. So the next thing on the list is to combine our Omos. And there he is. Homo sapiens arise as the master of the two-handed chokeslam is about to be pro'd into Promos, and we're going to use defend because reversal is so irritating. And there we are. For anyone that hasn't seen the pro animation already, that's what the pro animation looks like. We have the spinning wheel here. You've got a little of the smoke coming up. There's a little bit of animation in the background that you can barely see there, and then you have the shine of this part of the back of the car. You also have the little bit of the exhaust with the little flames that activates on occasion as well. So if we go to here and we just want to lock down our Promos, then there we go. And in terms of females, we still need quite a lot of females, so we can't go getting rid of any of those just yet. But let's see what we can get rid of. This Finn Balor we're going to keep for the time being, because if we can get a pro of him some point in the future, he will be stronger than our regular left arrows. He will be in the same region as our SummerSlam 23 Pro Ricochet, who is of course stronger than Fortified 1 Wesley. So that left arrow would potentially be stronger than our Fortified 1 Finn Balor, and would potentially be our strongest left arrow. However, the other cards that we don't need is we no longer need a Ludwig Kaiser or Elton Prince, nor do we need Grayson Waller. The up arrows we're still going to keep. We don't need Edge, unfortunately, even though he would be a very cool one. We are, of course, going to keep the Bronco Nima because he is a SummerSlam 23 Fusion, and once the new tier comes out and the new fusions come out, he will be used as material, as fodder, to make a new fusion. And the JD McDonough we're going to keep for the time being because he's an up arrow, because like I said, the up arrow is the only one that we really want left to replace here. You can see there that Omos on level 0 has already taken the 4th slot. He has already replaced our Finn Balor, even though he's at level 0, with 0 matches as well. Of course, we're also going to keep our Seth Rollins right arrow just in case we get a pro of him, because that would jump up to probably stronger than Gunther, because he's an SE card, a special edition card, instead of a PLE, but I don't think he'd be as strong as the Jey Uso. So that's the reason that those are being kept. And of course, all of our pros are getting kept as well for the time being. The Hogan, the reason I want to keep the Hogan is because he's the strongest card along with John Cena in the tier, so that would jump up past our Seth Rollins. And you can see our Seth Rollins is already stronger than Fortified 1 Braun Breaker. So that's the only reason I'm keeping him. And then we're keeping every up arrow that we have, because a pro up arrow would be significantly better than our NXT Myth Special Edition Fortified 1, him, Carmelo Hayes. So now that we have some cards unlocked, now it is the time to use those unlocked cards to feed some of our other cards. So let's go to Unlocked, see what we have. So Edge is still currently being trained. He never got finished, but it doesn't matter because he is going to be eaten by some of our other cards anyway. So let's get rid of Ludwig Kaiser. Going to feed him to Shawn Michaels. Put him up to level 83. I think we can feed him an Elton Prince as well. That should maybe get him up to... Oh, only got him up to level 100. So we are going to go for... I think a regular WrestleMania is enough for 5 levels. It is. There we are. There is the stats for the Pro Shawn Michaels at level 105 with the Shawn Michaels sunglasses, of course, which gives him a little bit of a power boost. So that makes him quite a bit stronger. You can see that our Fusion has actually overcame our PLE Gunther, which is very cool, but is still just a little bit weaker than our SummerSlam 23 Ricochet, because that is technically a special edition card. It's an SE card because it is a special edition. I don't know how else to tell you that. So, yep, there we go. Very cool. Of course, once he gets his 100 matches, it might make him possibly overcome the Ricochet. But it's probably also the equipment that's also helping him out a little bit there as well, because that is the Shawn Michaels exclusive equipment, which increases by quite a bit. Let's just take a look. You see there that it gives plus 5.5 million to charisma, 9.7 to speed, and 15.3 million to power. So makes everything ginormous. Next up, we're going to train up Omos. So we're going to go back to unlocked. We're going to give away this Grayson Waller to Big Omos. And we're also going to go remove Edge from Wild. So these were the cards that I was training up. I'm also in the middle of doing the Trish Stratus quest. Instead, forgetting what the quest was for, or who it was for. So let's put Carmelo Hayes in here for just now. I accidentally just muted the microphone for half a second there, trying to click back. The mute button is directly right above that right arrow there, or that back arrow. So that was the reasoning for that. And let's go back to Omos, and we're going to feed him Edge. Puts him up to level 100 once again. And we already know that a single WrestleMania 39 train-up is enough for 5 levels. And there we go, there is a Promos at his full level. So his power is 216 million, which is massive. But then toughness is not that much, it's not much bigger than his charisma. So it's 207.7 in toughness, 204.5 million charisma, and 202.6 million in speed, which is, of course, his weakest stat. And you can see there that our Promos, with his 0 matches, is actually stronger than our Joaquin Wild with his 100 matches. So that's pretty cool to see. And I think Omos, once he gets his 100 levels, is now going to be a little bit stronger than Tommaso Ciampa, and potentially even stronger than Dominic. But Dominic does also have a little bit of the stat boost because he's North American champion, so maybe not. And there we go, we've managed to get ourselves down to 438 of 450. It's not exactly where we would like to be, but it is unfortunately what we're going to have to work with for the time being. Hopefully at some point this will increase from 450 to 500, give me a little bit more space. The reason why our space is used so much, like so much of our space is used up, is because I keep hold of all of these old cards, all of these double heroics, all of these special editions, all of these very cool little artworks that a lot of people don't have any longer. And I know a lot of people do tell me, you know, that you can view these in the catalogue, but the problem with viewing them in the catalogue, if I just go to any of these, like say here, is from here, like example this Brock Lesnar, you cannot change the image on it, whereas if we go to here and we say like this Adam Cole, for instance, I can swap the image and change this to whatever image that I feel like. So we can go to this one where he's like pointing at himself with his thumb, and we can swap it to whatever else we feel like. That was the one that was on it before, and it gives us just that little bit more freedom that these cards don't initially have. Like this one where like Triple H is holding the crown with the whole thing behind him, and it looks like he's kind of sitting on the throne. I think that's a very, very cool artwork, very cool image. This one is actually very cool because it was the first Fortified 1 event card that you could get. So it's a Fortified 1 Double Heroic Daniel Bryan, which is very, very cool to see indeed. And so there's tons of these. It would take a massive video to go through all of this, but you can see just a quick glance at everything all the way right down to Season 1 WrestleMania cards as well. These aren't actually my oldest ones. I actually had to get rid of some of my older ones. But if we go to, let me see here, what was Season 1 Survivor? I think my first event card was, it's Sting! Yes, that's right, it was Sting himself. Unfortunately, I had to get rid of this card. I never got the Pro for him, but that was my first event card, and then after that I started going after the event cards for WrestleMania Season 1, and that was when I really started playing the game properly and less casually. And that Triple H was my first ever pro event card, that one right there. So I've always kept that. And this Seth Rollins is also a very, very cool one because it's Seth Rollins with the title as well. And the reason why he isn't pro'd is because I was literally 5 minutes from finishing off the second one and time ran out. Like, I was so annoyed. I was like 2 games away from finishing the event. So, very disappointing. Also, you can see there that my profile picture has changed to Nia Jax because Nia Jax has made a return to WWE. And a lot of people aren't happy about it. A lot of people don't like Nia Jax because she's known to be a stiff worker because she has injured some people. But I personally quite like... my favourite female of all time is Chyna. And she was just in a league of her own at her time. I think even if she was around just now, she would be very high up in the women's division. Of course, she was sort of blacklisted from WWE because she was dating Triple H, and then Triple H went with Stephanie, and Stephanie is, the $1 billion princess of WWE. So that's kind of a little bit of what happened there. I think the story goes a little bit deeper than that. But that's what I'll say here. I'm sure a lot of you know more than what I do with that situation. But I really, really like Chyna just because she was just so imposing and so strong and so powerful in a division where, if anyone remembers back in that era, before Chyna came along, the women's division was, it was terrible. It was full of brand panties matches. Women weren't allowed to wrestle. They weren't allowed to do big moves or anything. They had to do a lot of hair pulling and, like, the women's slap and things. And it was not good. And Chyna came along and she started gorilla press slamming people and doing pedigrees off the top rope, and she won the Intercontinental Championship off of Jeff Jarrett and had a massive feud with the likes of Chris Jericho for that belt. And there was even plans to put the world title on her, which would have been huge, but those kind of got nixed by some of the backstage politics that were going on, I think. But yeah, Chyna was amazing. And although there's other people, like Chyna also entered the Royal Rumble back when there was only a men's Royal Rumble, there wasn't a women's Royal Rumble. And Beth Phoenix has also entered the Royal Rumble because she's also big, powerful female, which is fantastic. I love the equality of when a female can get in the ring and do the stuff with the men as well. I think that is fantastic when they are allowed to do that. I think there's a lot of females that would be very happy to do that. And Nia Jax entering the women's and the men's Royal Rumble, I thought was a huge thing. Although a lot of the fans didn't like her at the time, I've always been a big fan of Nia Jax, and seeing her back has made me very, very happy. I think she is an amazing heel. I think she can get a lot of heat in the same way that Dominic Mysterio is hated by a lot of people. Nia Jax is also hated by a lot of people, but she has these, they both have the lineage. Nia Jax is obviously Simone and cousin of The Rock, and she is well trained. A lot of people will say get her out of the ring before she enters someone, and that kind of thing. She did break Becky Lynch's face with that stiff punch, that stiff potato, but that is really what catapulted Becky Lynch's career as well, because I think that Mania was supposed to be main evented by Charlotte Flair versus Ronda, and that's kind of what got Becky into that main event, and Becky won the match as well, although I'm not sure that she thanked Nia Jax for breaking her nose open for that. But I certainly think there is a place in the industry for Nia Jax, and I'm really glad to see that she's back in WWE. I think she would do more in WWE than she would in the AEW Women's division. And also in the AEW Women's division, we currently have Paige, or Saraya, as Saraya as her champion. I was trying to remember if her name was Saraya or Saraya, but it's Saraya, I'm pretty sure. So we've got page back on top, we've got Nia Jax making a return, and oh my goodness, like some of my favourite females are making their returns to the wrestling, and I'm very, very happy about it. So that's why we've got big Nia Jax up here for the time being. But that's going to be it for this little video, folks. I really hope you all enjoyed. If you did enjoy it, please give me a like, share, and subscribe. And if you are subscribed, make sure you click that notification icon so you can see when more of these glorious little videos go up. And we shall see you all in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.